Okay guys, so this is going to be a series of videos that I want you guys to watch and follow through or follow along with to get yourself back into using Inventor. Um, Following these videos will kind of give you guys a better idea of how to use Inventor in a more industrial setting. These are direct from a company that uses Inventor on a daily basis. It is a company that provided us with the track for our um, Derby racers. The company is known as MSD. I've wanted to go on a field trip to this company, but they unfortunately do not allow anyone under the age of 18 on their facility. So I can't go on a field trip with you guys there because not everyone is over 18. And even though some of my seniors are over 18, I have seniors that are not. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Some of you have seen this before. This is a Skills USA contest, but again, this is direct from a company that uses Inventor on a daily basis. So this is a rather simple part. It is a single extrusion. It is a piece that is only 0.25 inches wide, and it is dimensioned differently than we are normally used to seeing, but it is baseline dimensioning. Everything is being dimensioned to a common area or a common baseline. So this is the origin. Everything is being dimensioned back to this point. So we are going to go ahead and dimension this or draw this based on this one section or this one point. So here is the isometric that we are going to be using as reference, but it's rather simple, so let's go ahead and get started. So over here in Inventor, let's go ahead and open up a standard IPT in inches. We don't need to be using the metric system, and we're going to start a brand new sketch on the XY plane. Okay. So like I said, we're going to be using this as our origin. So we're going to put a circle that has a diameter of 0.272. Oops, that's not even the right numbers. 0.272. Okay. And just on the outside of this, we have a larger circle that has a radius or an arc, sorry, that has a radius of 0.31. So that means that it's going to have a diameter of 0.62. Put that in. Okay. And just for reference, or just to help us draw this part, I am going to go ahead and put in a rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to put in a rectangle like that, and some lines. So I'm going to put in a line like this, and a line like that. Okay, so this is just for reference. I'm going to trim those lines away. Okay, so I'm going to trim, I'm hitting my X on my keyboard, trim that, this, and that. Okay, and then I'm going to use my tangent constraint to lock this to there and to lock this here. Okay, and then again, I'm going to trim this and that, and then I can go ahead and delete that line there. Okay, so everything is tangent. Okay, so it kind of gives me a kind of an idea of what this should look like. So if I kind of move this around, this is kind of what this part looks like. Okay. Oops, I need to also trim that too. Okay, so here is the general shape. Okay. So if I look over here on our original drawing, here is our origin, and if it doesn't give us our overall height, okay, because there's nothing dimensioning to our overall height, it's dimensioning to this center point, which is the center point of this fillet. Okay, this fillet has a radius of 25, and then that fillet, that center point is being dimensioned from this center point, and that's how that overall height is being dimensioned. So let's go ahead and put in some fillets. So we're going to click on fillets, and our first radius is 0.25. So we're going to type in 0.25 for our fillet. We're going to hit here and here, and then we're going to look at each fillet after that. So there's no dimension here, but here it says R42 places, so that can be, we can assume that these are both these are R40. Here we have 0.25, and then this one here is R31, which we already did. Okay, so now let's do that again and type in R40 here and there, this line and this line, and everything is filleted. Okay, so now we can go ahead and dimension. So I'm going to click on this circle and this arc, and I'm going to put in this dimension that says 3.368, and that locks that. And then it's giving me my horizontal dimension, which is from this center to this center, and this is 0.063, and that locks that into place, and everything turns black, and that means that we are good to go. Okay, so now we are good to go ahead and dimension the next fillet, which is this one here. So we have the center point for this fillet. So if we look here, it tells us that there is no dimension for it. Okay, so there's no dimension for this one for our horizontal location, but it does give us for our vertical location. So we follow it out, follow it over, follow it down, 3218. So we're going to click on this and this, 3218, good, say okay. All right, follow it down to our next fillet, follow it over, here's our location, follow it over, down, 2608, click, click, and type it in, 2.608, okay, and then we can follow it down, and it will give us our horizontal location, which is 0.888. And I'm just going to drop it down over here, 0.888. Okay, we're going to follow this down until we get to our next fillet. Here it is, and it's going to give us our next dimension, which is 1.038, which is for this one. 1.038, and that's not entirely correct. Let me put in our vertical location for this one. And then let me undo that, put in our vertical location, and see what happened. This is 1.752. There, that locks it in place. For whatever reason, I don't know why I did the other way. Okay. Okay, so I think we're good to go. We're missing this dimension here, but it's not listed here, so I think we're okay. All right, so now all we need to do is put in these other locations for some holes, and then we're good to go. So we have 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of them are the same size, so we can just go ahead and put in the holes after we extrude. So we can go ahead and put them in now, or we can wait. Sometimes it's easier to do it after. The reason why I would want to wait is because we already have a lot of information happening here. But it's up to you guys if you want to wait or not. I'm going to go ahead and say no, I don't want to wait. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude. No, I don't want to do it right now. I'm going to wait. So I'm going to extrude all of this by 0.25 and say that looks good. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a new sketch in. And then I'm going to put in points. So I have a point here, 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 and here. and then I'm going to dimension these points from this hole here. So from here to here, I know that that hole is, let's follow that out, 334. The next one is 284. This next one is 2.24, and the next one is 1796. Okay, and then the same thing, just going horizontally. So up 0.176. Next one 776. Next one is 976. And then the last one is 722. Okay, so like I said, doing it this way is a lot easier because you can do it really quick. If we did it the other way, we would have points that would want to connect to other dots or other sections. And then once we have these points already set up and we click on hole, Inventor automatically sees those holes or those points, and Inventor will automatically select them. And we can say that all 4 of those are the same at 201 diameter or 0.201 diameter, and that they go all the way through, and say OK, and that this part is done. So we can go ahead and save this. So, oops, I went too far. So this is going to be, I'm going to make a new folder. You guys should make a new folder as well. If you guys don't know how, you should. So create a new folder. This should be third 9 weeks. And I think you guys should save this as 3-1. Oops. 3-1.1. Let's save it as part 1. Something easy. Part 1. Okay. And let's lay it out on a sheet. So let's go to new, LA title block. Okay, your title block, your whatever title block you've been using. And we are going to put a base view like this, and then a side view over here, and then an isometric like that. Okay, I'm going to double click on my isometric and I'm going to make it half scale. Okay, because we don't need it so big. And I actually do want it colored in. Okay, so just the same way that this is dimensioned over here, I'm going to annotate it, and I'm going to use baseline. Okay, so I'm going to select this as my origin. Okay, and then I'm going to base everything off of it. So I'm just going to start selecting all of my points the way that I see it, and right click continue, and it fills in all of the holes. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that we saw over here, and Inventor did it for us. Okay, and then I can do the same thing, going left to right. So I can click here, oops, create, and then I can do the same thing, baseline, start here, and click here, and then just click, 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 click. And I'm just clicking all these different areas. And why is it selecting or putting things in twice? Okay, so if it does this to you where it's putting in a ton of stuff twice, which it shouldn't, you guys need to go in and delete numbers that are repeating. Okay, so for me, like I have 337 twice, so I can go through and I can delete them. Okay. You guys have a ton of space on your sheets, so you guys need to go ahead and delete sections or delete things. Um, Not delete things. Separate and move things around so that way you have all of the that you're utilizing space appropriately. So like you can move your dimensions around, you can move them to the other side. You don't need to have things just kind of floating wherever and hanging off the sheets. Okay, don't bunch it over onto one side of the sheet. You guys have been on Inventor long enough to know how to do it. Don't be lazy. When you guys are done, please upload it into the OneDrive. I'm sorry, not into the OneDrive, into the Classroom Notebook, and then let me know when you are done so that way I can grade it. If you guys have any questions, just raise your hand, call me over. Don't just sit there and expect me to know what you are thinking. Okay? Thanks, guys.